This model we've got today I shouldn't have any problems with. Famous last words. It's from Marklin in their Hamo range. This is a range that Hamo introduced to provide 2-rail locomotives and rolling stock, which would be sold separate to their normal 3-rail AC equipment. The range was produced from around about 1973, I think, to around about 1981 when it was discontinued and the new brand of Trix came along, which continues to this day. This model is number 8312 and it represents a Class T5 steam locomotive. It was later the DRG Class 75.0. It's a 262 tank locomotive in the green of the Württemberg State Railway, and this is one of the first models in the Hamo range. This model was in the range for quite a long time, I think around about 8 years, from when it was introduced in 73 to around about 1981. So the original Class T5 was quite a powerful 262 tank engine, and it was designed obviously for the Royal Württemberg State Railway in southern Germany. It was introduced in around about 1910, I believe, and it hauled passenger trains on both main lines and some branch lines as well. So a total of 96 were built between 1910 and 1920. And after the First World War, all the surviving locomotives were reclassified as DRG Class 75.0. They continued on until around about 1963 when the last one was in service. So it should be quite an interesting model to have a look at. Let's get this out of the box and we'll check it out. Okay, we've got a couple of leaflets in here too. This little one here is just showing how to take the model apart. It looks like we've just got one screw, which is great, and the body just lifts off. This one talks about this model being for 2-rail operation. Obviously, it's not a 3-rail model. And we also have this leaflet, which is obviously about servicing the model. And it's got some great illustrations like this one here, which is really fantastic. It looks as though you can fit this with some steam generator perhaps as well. And it looks like we've got some lighting as well. But I do like the illustrations. They're quite funny actually. Obviously, don't use olive oil on your model trains. They also seem to have some spares still sealed from the factory. This looks like some different kind of couplings. And here is the model. It looks absolutely superb, like I'd expect from Marklin. And also it doesn't look as though it's got any damage as well. So I think I've lucked out on this one. It is a second-hand model, obviously, and I'll let you know how much it cost at the end of the video. But for now, let's take a closer look at it. So one of the things very noticeable about this locomotive is the coupling hanging out the front here. It really sticks out quite a lot. It's on a separate piece to the bogie, and it seems to be sprung just on the bogie there as well. Easily removed if you want. There's just a screw in the middle there to allow you to take this off if you prefer. So the buffer beam is a nice colour of red, and it's got the buffers separate pieces that have been added in here. We've got some really nicely detailed gas lamps there, and these little markers as well. Those are made of plastic, so very easily broken, but these two still are here, as are the lamps, which look great. I love the checkerboard effect on this part here. And looking at the door here at the front, it's quite a plain one here, but we do have some really fine rivet detail. The number's very clear as well. I love this part here on the side. I think that's a condenser. Let me know in the comments below if I've got that wrong. And we've got some pipework here moulded into the main boiler piece. One of the things which is quite incredible on this model is that the top of the chimney actually has a little hatch up here. Let me see if I can get this open. And that does actually hinge up and down, which is just incredible. Look at the detail and how fine that is. That is just amazing. I really love that. The chimney is actually a separate part which has been added in. And also while we're looking at the boiler, it's got these gold bands running across as well, which has got no problems at all with the masking on them, even over the pipework which is moulded in here. So as we start to look down the side of this locomotive, the green is a nice matte colour. It's a separate piece to the boiler, and it's got some details up here which have been moulded in, and some very convincing hatches here. And looking down the side, we've got some really good rivet detail. There's a plate here, which looks like it's a transfer. We've got a hatch here as well, which is moulded in, and this red lining is really good too. And as we move further down to the cab area, we've got the number and some more transfers, which are very clear. An indication of the door, I think probably that lets it down a little bit. I kind of would have expected that to be a bit more detailed, but we've got more lining around the back here. And also the moulding around the windows looks really good. We do have glazing there, but we don't have any interior. It's just dominated by the motor. Just looking at the front of the cab, I love the little hoods over the windows, and there's nice enough detail there. Looking up top too, we've got this separate piece of plastic for the roof, which has got some rivet detail, a couple of air vents, and we have a metal whistle which has been added in, which is also very fine too. Looking at the back of the cab, we've got some more windows, and we've got a very highly stacked up bunker here. This is a separate piece made of plastic which has been added in, and it's got some wood grain effect around the edges. And then looking at the green area, we've got some pipework for the gas lamps at the back, and they look really good too. We did notice in the instructions that it comes with lighting, so I'm expecting these to come on when I put it on the test track. The red area down here looks really good too, although this does have a few chips on the bottom of the buffer beam, and that's probably just because of the coupling banging up and down, perhaps in use. I love these steps coming down and the colour of red here as well. Bit of rivet detail too, just above the tank. On the other side it's very similar, although there's a bit more pipework moulded in here in a piece of plastic, but aside from that it's essentially the same. So looking down in at the front bogie, this is made of metal. It's got some nice details here at the front. These pieces always get broken off, but it's nice that these haven't. It's even got rivet detail there. And we have the first wheel here. Now these are all metal and they have red painted inserts there. This one seems to be jammed though. I'm going to have to try and figure that one out because, yeah, it's not revolving at the moment. That's not going to be good when we give it a try. You can see some more rivet detail up here in the chassis, which is made of metal. And then we have a black plastic cylinder block here, which has got a lot of rivet detail on it. And it looks really good, especially at the front here. The valve gear is very fine, all made of metal. And the driving wheels obviously metal as well, very chrome and red painted inserts, but we do have brakes very much in line with the wheels, which look great. Not a lot of detail on the back of the chassis here under the cab, but we do have this additional bogie hanging out the back here, which is also made of metal, has a similar kind of amount of rivet detail on it, and also the red painted wheels. These seem to be jammed as well, so I'm going to have to give this a bit of TLC to get it working. Just looking underneath, you can see Marklin made in West Germany moulded in here. Got a number up here, I'm not quite sure what that is for. This one seems to have a stud here for accessories like what you get in Fleischmann models, and you can see the pickup here, and that these three wheels are driven. We've got a traction tyre on this wheel but none on the rest. So overall this is a really good looking steam locomotive, and it's well executed here too. I'm interested to see how this runs, but first I'm going to have to try and free up these wheels. Let me try and fix that first and then I'll put it on some test track. Okay, I've managed to free them up. I'm not quite sure why it was jammed there. I think maybe there's been some metal fatigue on these metal bogies, and I just bored out the hole just a slight bit more, and that allowed the wheel to revolve. Of course, I cleaned it as well. Hopefully that problem isn't going to also affect the driving wheels. Also, interestingly enough, it also picks up from the front and back bogie as well as the main driving wheels. Anyway, let's give this a try and we'll see. Okay, here we are on the test track. It's just some old Hornby set track that I've got here, and this is all the space I've got in this little stage. So I'm going to use my H&M controller and 12 volts DC, so let's give it some power and see what happens. Okay, so it kind of just makes a buzzy noise and doesn't move at all, so maybe those wheels are jammed up as well. So I'm going to have to take this apart and check out what's happening. Well, it was very easy to get the body shell off, which is great, and now that I have it off I can see that the boiler is actually made of metal. I thought it was plastic, but it's not. The rest of it is all plastic, and you can see how it's been clipped together. And this is what we've got in the chassis. So we've got a light bulb at the front here, and we also have one here round at the back as well. I guess it distributes light out to both lamps. Got a little bit of a circuit board here, and obviously the motor sitting up here as well, and the gearbox transmits to all the wheels too. So let's see if we can get this freed up and get it working. So very curious with this locomotive. I've taken off the valve gear, you can see it sitting back here, and I've managed to get this freed up and it runs fine. But it does look as though the valve gear is jamming into these piston blocks. Well, look here, I've just moved the valve gear a little bit and it's revealed this green patch here, which I think is just some grease which is solidified and jammed up the valve gear. So I'll need to clean that up and then just put on some more grease onto here and hopefully just put it back together and it should work. Anyway, that's the next step. Give me a few minutes and with a bit of luck we'll be back together. Well, that was certainly a very fiddly job, but I've actually managed to get it all back together and it actually seems to be working okay. So let me just chuck this onto the track and we'll see if the chassis moves up and down before we put the body back on. Well, it's taken me about an hour to get this model freed up, but now it's running absolutely perfectly and I'm really happy about that as well. Even the lights work as well. So I guess the next step is to put it on the scales and see how much it weighs. So this model comes in at 239 grams. So this Marklin Hamo model of the Württemberg T5, well, isn't it just a great survivor? Considering this model came out in the late 70s, it makes it almost 50 years old and you would not think that from this model one bit. Okay, the flanges on the wheels may be a bit big and a bit coarse by today's standards, but that's really nitpicking for what you get here. There's some fantastic little details on here. I love the little flippy up thing on the top of the chimney. I'm sure it's got a proper name. Let me know in the comments if you know. And the detail on the gas lamps on the front and the back look really great as well. Okay, there is an attempt at lighting on that, but it's not really that good. It's just begging for being upgraded to LEDs. The only downside, I think, is that you have such a big motor in the cab area that you don't have any interior detail. So that's a bit sad, but really it's just a small thing compared to what you get here. It's absolute testament to how good Marklin models were in the past, and I believe continue to be so today. And I can't imagine many other manufacturers who maybe make their stuff in China would have a model running this good and looking this good by today's standards in around about 40 or 50 years time. So I think this is definitely one to look out for in the second-hand market, which comes to the price. This one is in very good condition and comes with a box and the leaflets, and I paid £70 for this. I think that's a fair price, and it's certainly a fantastic vintage locomotive for that amount of money. I'm sure it will run for many years to come, and it also has some fantastic looks that you can enjoy as well. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'd love to know your thoughts. And if you liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and you can subscribe for more. I'll put this on the turntable so you can see all the way around. That's it for this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.
So model train, model worlds, choo choo, model trains, tiny in tiny worlds, choo choo, model trains, tiny model worlds, choo choo, model trains, tiny in tiny worlds, choo choo.